Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Legacy Farm, the podcast. I'm your host, Jace Young, and today's topic of discussion is this: the greatest destroyer of wealth. Now, over the years, we've had a lot of different types of operations come into the legacy farmer that we've worked with, anywhere from 500,000 in revenue up to like literally 20 to 25 million in revenue, with a few clients there and just massive net worths across the board and things like that. Now, one thing that comes and one problem that we've had to consistently deal with is a lot of people, when they're coming to the legacy farmer, they're coming in because they don't know their numbers, right? That's like the one single, most important thing that we solve is we want our customers to become financial masters when it comes to their numbers, and to not have any guessing or hope and prayer that things work out. I want people to know without a doubt if they are making the right decision or not. Now, we're never going to be 100%, but I would rather be 90% or 95% versus where most people are at today, which is like 5 to 10%. It's literally a guess, and kind of you're just relying on hope and prayer there that everything works out long term. So one of the issues though that we run into is a lot of people are coming in because they need that financial organization and structure. Now, the issue is once we do get that structure and organization put into place, we run into exposing faults, exposing problems, exposing lack essentially with customers. A lot of people, inside the ag industry don't like that. Now, I'll use my granddad as an example. My granddad had a huge ego. And the reason is because he built an operation, a $10 million plus operation from nothing. So I can see how it was built over a 50-year period there of creating and building the operation there. But the problem is that when that ego gets so attached to the wealth and things that you've built and the number of acres that you're farming or whatever, like the size of the feed yard, whatever it may be for you, that ego can destroy you. And the number one destroyer of wealth when it comes to ag, probably really any business, is egos. Egos are emotional. Egos block us from reality. Egos are the excuses that we have to not face the facts of the current situation that we are in today. So the reason I bring this up is because just like my granddad, we may have somebody come in to Legacy Farmer that has a massive net worth, yet they operate in financial chaos. There's this organization, there's just chaos across the board there when it comes to their numbers. And the thing is once we start organizing it and getting it structured and being able to get clarity into those finances, those customers, sometimes they don't want to face those harsh truths, right? Or those realities. And those realities are exposing all the problems, all the challenges, all the bad decisions, right? All kind of just the lacks of knowledge that this customer had, or the lack of strategic planning or thinking through decisions, or the carelessness they had in making financial purchases, right? And again, I'm not talking down to anybody. This is happening across the entire industry at some level there, and I'm 100% confident in that. So the thing here is that if you do come in or you are running an operation that's got a sizable net worth and you got a lot of equity and blah, 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 you're just attached to your balance sheet, you have to be willing to drop the ego. With that ego in place there, it doesn't matter what we do from a financial standpoint or how organized you are or what the numbers are telling you. You're going to tell yourself whatever story you can to avoid facing the reality of what the numbers are showing you. And those numbers are going to show you some pretty tough situations sometimes, but ultimately, that's going to change your decisions going forward, or it should, right? Unless you want to continue to live in fantasy land and tell yourself these different stories that the numbers are a lie or whatever that is. One common statement or quote that I always go back to is the ego misleads, the numbers, they don't, right? The numbers do not. And so that's something that we have to really think about here. And especially when you're the business owner and you're looking at your numbers, we have to drop the ego and really start to challenge our thinking and say, okay, based on what the numbers are showing me, if they're really bad, what do I need to be doing differently? What are the mistakes that I've made? What things and decisions have I made in the past that ultimately put me in this place? And break down the walls around you and kill that ego so that you can just embrace what the truth is, so that you can give yourself permission to accept it. And now we can start down this journey of taking different actions going forward. A lot of people, when they come into Legacy Farmer, they come in and there's a financial hole, right? Potentially that they're trying to dig out of, right? And again, this is from a small operation clear up to multi-million dollar operations that we're dealing with here. But once we know what our starting point is, then we can start to build out of that, right? And we can start to move our way up and start making better decisions. But we have to have financial clarity on what the numbers are there at the beginning. And then we have to break through whatever egos exist in that person and really try to break down some walls here so that we can actually move together and progress forward constructively with a game plan in place there, and stop living in this land of guessing on every decision and telling ourselves a story that's based off of nothing, that's based off of emotions or feelings or anything like that, which emotions and feelings are built from the ego, right? And insecurity is ultimately there as well. So we got to have the courage there to recognize that, hey, my ego may have led me to make those bad decisions, and I know that I need to change. And in order to do that, I'm gonna have to get out of my comfort zone quite a bit. I'm gonna have to start really accepting some hard truths. I'm gonna have to start doing things differently and taking different actions if I want this operation to recover and succeed long term. That is what we have to deal with. And the number one destroyer of wealth in this country and really in the world is people's egos. And so I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I'm definitely not, guys. When you build something and you start from nothing, it's easy for an ego to get there, right? There's just kind of this fine line between owning what you've created and not letting that confidence become ego, essentially, right? That's a delicate balance, right? That's a fine line to try to walk there. And the people that are willing to let go of the ego and knock down those barriers or those walls, those are the ones that we see recover really quickly from any financial pitfalls or downfalls that they've had over the past few years, and start to move towards that upward trend that they want to be going towards there and building the operation that they want. But again, we have to kill the ego first, because the ego is what's blocking us from facing the reality of the truth of the numbers. And it's the one thing that's blocking us from progressing forward in a constructive and strategic way, where we actually start making good, sound business decisions, and we start changing our habits, and we start changing the type of operation that we're creating there, which is ultimately going to benefit you and your kids long term there inside of the operation. So at the end of the day, my friend, one question for you is, have you been running your operation based off of your ego or based off of the facts? And if you don't know the numbers and you're not structured and organized, 100% you've been basing it off of your ego, because you can't know. The facts are found in the numbers. If you don't have the structure and organization there, that's where Legacy Farmer steps in. That's where we've helped hundreds of customers over the years get their numbers structured and organized, so we can kill the ego and move forward strategically with sound numbers in place. So my friends, that concludes today's episode. Hope you found it valuable, and we will catch you on the next one.